Okay, we are ready for our second step in our lesson exploring foreground, middle ground, and background. So I have an example of one where I've sketched it out already, and I'm going to be looking at this as I walk you through it. Now, you have a couple of choices on this assignment. If you're really struggling and you want to follow along exactly with me, that's fine. On the other hand, I have a lot of you who are very creative and who are definitely capable of coming up with your own composition. If you want to come up with your own composition for this, that's fine too. But I want you to watch how I go about the process, and then if you want to adjust it and make it your own, I think that's fabulous. So we're going to start by sketching out our foreground, which is the area closest to us in the composition. Okay, so I have a basic foreground sketched out here. So let's go talk about how I did this. So you'll notice that my foreground comes no higher than this, okay? So you may want to mark that off on your paper that you don't really want to go more than a third of the way up the paper. All right, so the first thing I did was I basically laid out some bushes here in the foreground. So I'm just going to lightly sketch these out. I'm going to wiggle my pencil. You guys know I'm a big fan of wiggling the pencil. And just lightly put this in here. I may adjust it later, and it's probably not going to look exactly like this one, and that's fine. All right, the next thing I did was I came down almost like a curve here. But again, you know me and that wiggling of the pencil. So I'm going to curve my path out. Okay, I can adjust that later and make more detail if I want to. So for right now, I'm really just laying out where my bush is and this is going to be, and then I can always go back in and refine it. All right, so I'm going to come over here and put the top of this bush in. I want this one to be a little bit lower than this one, just to create a little bit more interest in my artwork. So I'm going to make sure that this one comes down a little bit lower. And again, like I said, I can come back in here later and refine these shapes and adjust where I want everything. But now I'm just kind of planning it out. And then continue that path down and out here. Okay, so I'm not looking for any clean, perfect lines yet. Maybe there's some rocks. I don't know. I'm just going to put these in here. I did it in the other one and I liked the way it looked, so we'll give it another shot over here. Some stones or some rocks in the path. Okay, so then of course I can go back in with my pencil and eraser and begin to refine this. All right, so that's been sketched out and I have my foreground set up. So the next step I'm going to do for this, for our foreground, is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut this, okay? Because if we look at this one, my foreground actually opens up, okay? So it's sitting on top of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut along the top of our bushes carefully. You really want to take your time and do a nice job on this. Okay, when you get to the fold here, you're going to stop. And then the next thing you're going to do, so I've cut along the lines for the bushes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along the fold up to the line of the bushes. So you're going to take this piece of paper, set it aside, save it in your folder. You never know when it's going to come in handy. Okay, so now what you have is you have your foreground for your composition set up. Okay? All right, in our next video, we're going to look at creating the middle ground for our composition.